Welcome to Roofer. We are missing Jonah tonight, just Scott and I, but we are doing a new format. It's a little bit dark outside, and we're just relaxing, drinking a little bit, and we're gonna talk some business. So excited to jump in. All right. Let me see if there's any. All right. So first question, pull this up. I do have the questions ready this week, unlike last week. Um, we are probably going to save some of the marketing related ones for Jonah. All right, so sales question. Scott, what are the most effective closing techniques for high ticket roofing projects?
I don't know. That's kind of a little bit of a strange question. I mean, the most effective thing we do is just follow up. I mean, that we don't do a high pressure sale. We're not trying to do a quick close. The only technique we really use is a pre-close. And that seems to work pretty well in a higher ticket environment. And a pre-close, for those that don't know, basically what we do is we've give our whole speech, we've answered every question, assuming that they're happy with the presentation, we're going to the truck to write the quote. The pre-close is, Mr. or Mrs. Customer, is there anything other than price that is going to keep you from hiring my roofing company? They should say no. That's all I'm looking for. That's the pre-close. So you just teed it up, and now they feel like they're now have some skin in the game, right? Because now they love you, they love the presentation, they love the product that you're selling them. They just need to love the price. So that's about the only technique we use as far as a true sales technique for those situations.
I mean, I think that's super powerful. The Yeah, that's not a small thing. I think you're getting that subconscious agreement from the homeowner. And then it's very hard because people naturally want to be consistent. People try to be consistent. So when they say one thing, they do subconsciously try to honor that. Not they don't always, but if they say nope, it's just like if the price is reasonable, then we're gonna do it. Then when you come back and they don't immediately sign, you can go to them, right? And you can say, okay, was this price not what you expected? And then and then there's very little room for them to come back with something else because they've already agreed that that's it. So then it just kind of narrows down like the what you are going to discuss with them.
So just the reason I know this works is because a year and a half ago, I had an in-ground electric dog fence company come to my house because I got a big farm and I got some dogs, right? I wanted to keep them in my field. I don't want them like in the neighbor's field. So, which is a long ways away, but still, I wanted to keep them close. So, anyhow, they give a great presentation. They go through the whole spiel. Product's fantastic. I know it works. Like I've done my research. They've explained it well enough too. But the guy literally asked me, says, "Is there anything other than price that's going to keep you from pulling the trigger? Is there, And he asked a couple other little things like, is there another party, wife, whatever, involved in making this decision?" I'm like, "No, I can make this decision." Sure as shit, he's got me on the hook because I knew what I needed to be budget wise. He came in inside of the budget. It's not like I could use the excuse, well, let me wait for my wife to get home. No, I just told him that I don't need my wife's permission to make this. You know what I mean? So as soon as I did that, I realized that pre-closed system, it does work. And because I bought on the spot, I literally bought. So it is an effective tool. You just got to be careful, in my opinion, not to be too high pressure with it. It's more so just to, hey, I want to make sure that the presentation I just gave you crossed and checked every box. Did I answer every question? Did I offer you the warranties that you want? Did I offer you the product, the service, the customer service? Are we good? Because now I'm going to give you the last piece, and that's the price.
Yeah. No, that makes yeah, it makes sense. And you also open the door for them to say if there's something else that concern them. Where it's like,
Absolutely. You get to answer that question.
yeah, in order to answer that question, like it's um yeah, they can come back and they can say, well, I am worried about this. And then you have that opportunity to address that and or like build that into your quote where you specifically address that.
Yep.
What is like when you guys use that, is there something that you guys do here other than just yes? What
It's almost always yes. Yeah, they're almost always ready to pull the trigger other than price. And honestly, we use it every time. That's part of our sales pitch. We Let me say this: they're supposed to do it every time. Um, a lot of our customers are price shopping. Period. So I mean, even if they say you checked every freaking box on the list, you hand them a price. You know what they say? I'm going to get a couple other prices just to make sure.
Yep.
So it's not, this is not a foolproof plan here, but it does initiate that skin in the game for the customer. They've committed to you a little bit, and it gets their mind in that direction. So it works, but again, economy's tough right now. So everybody's getting multiple quotes. Nobody's pulling the trigger with the first guy. I mean,
Yeah.
it's very rare right now.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes sense. It's a tough time. All right, here's a good question. What is the in when it comes to roofing in a roofing business, what is the role of professional certifications and can they be used to influence customer trust during the sales process?
So I'm assuming the question's referring to like contractor's license and things like that.
Yeah, I think it's pretty broad. So
Yeah.
anything, yeah, licenses, certifications.
Yeah, and so I mean, I think I think if you don't have that stuff, you shouldn't even be in business. But because it's so easy to get today, like to be a master elite for GAF does not take that much effort. Like, just to be honest, to be and I don't want to say a master elite, let's say a certified, right? A GAF certified contractor or an Owens Corning certified. I can't remember their term. I think it's certified also. But whatever. To be that entry level um contractor with, whether it's, I mean, you have to do it with your state. You have to do it. Like that's required. If you're using a manufacturer like that, it's almost a no-brainer. Like, I mean, I think we were with GAF and Owens Corning basically in our first year of selling shingles. We got both of them, and we weren't selling that many. It's not hard to get in their entry level programs because those don't really have, and I'm just speaking from my experience, they don't really have a quota to meet. To go up in levels, there are certain things that they want to see you do to get to those other levels. But I mean, you should at least go get certified by whatever manufacturer you're using. Because even if you're only selling 500 square a year, like you can still get into those programs. You can probably get into more than one. That way, you have some options to look at as you grow.
But here's, I think, the question is it's easy to get those, but do they actually make a difference when it comes
That's
to
what I'm
sales?
saying. I don't think they do. I think they're weightless today.
Yeah.
Yes, I guess I didn't finish. It
Yeah.
just doesn't really make much difference because every chuck in a truck can get it.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. I see it. I see. That's the point you're making. Yeah.
the only thing I will say is once you hit certain levels, the warranties do start to come into play. So like once you're a master elite with JF, you do get to start offering that big labor warranty on the gold pledges. Once you're a platinum with Owens Corning, you get to start offering that big warranty on an OC roof. So I mean, It's not the certification anybody cares about. It's the warranty you can provide them when you leave their project.
Yeah. And it's gonna be the difference. I mean, can't just every truck in a truck also give it like promise a warranty?
Not really. Not that good. Like a master elite, like our gold pledges, which we sell more than anything, and we offer everything. We offer no warranty. If you don't want a warranty, that's fine. We'll just give you a cheap roof if that's what you
Yeah.
want.
Yeah.
We have to today. We used to not, but we have to today. But if we're going to sell a gold pledge, I mean, that's 25-year workmanship, 25-year labor warranty, manufacturer backed by, I don't know, $1 billion company, So,
Yeah.
and then a 50-year on material. Now, what I will tell you, and everybody, I get customers and I hear it all the time, listening to recorded calls and different things, customers all the time. Oh, yeah, I know about those warranties.
Really? Why do they refer to it like
It's
that?
it's it's the extended car warranty system, right?
Mm.
Everybody's so used to being sold the extended car warranty that the car dealer never backs up and never follows through with. What I will tell you for a fact, because there's multiple businesses in the state of West Virginia that were master elites that have went out of business. There's one in particular that went out of business like 2 years ago, and you probably know who it is, AJ. But I know John knows him. Regardless, huge company, huge GAF Master Elite company went out. We get paid now by GAF to go service those warranties because we cover that territory. We're the biggest installer in that territory now. GAF will pay us to go service those warranties. So I feel really good when I sell them and my guys sell them because I'm very confident that if there is a problem, that manufacturer is going to back it up because I'm literally fixing them right now for another company.
Yeah. Yeah, regardless of like someone's gonna take care of it, even if it's not you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. What about things like I don't know if this would count as a certification, but things like directory, where you can get the directory badge and it's like $20,000 guarantee on work, stuff like that. What's your thoughts on that?
And it's just like Google LSA. Isn't Google LSA is not as high of a dollar on that amount. It's like 2 grand or 3 grand or something like that. But
Yeah.
I mean, how many of these are we going to go get? How many of these matter? Like, in my opinion, if the customer can't get value from it and pay, let me say this: if the customer can't get value from it with little to no cost to them, it means nothing. Like yeah, I think the directory thing I know very little about. I feel like that's a attempt to compete with Google, which makes no sense to me. Honestly, I just don't get it. Or Angie, which
I
I
think it's
mean, what?
more I feel like I think like Dimitri's trying to compete more with Angie with it. But
Sure, but is anybody using any of those services today? Like
I think there's a lot of people using Angie. I think a lot more than you'd think.
homeowners or contractors?
Both.
I don't know
Yeah.
any contractors using it.
I'll tell you this. So this, I mean, talking to John hates Angie.
Yeah,
A lot of
they
people hate
do.
Angie.
They
And
call me
like,
like every day.
yeah, there's sales strategies are not is not good. But I will say this, we have had a number over the last 3 years, a number of companies we do have an Angie integration for Proline because we started selling companies that did use Angie. And so we have a number of companies over the years that have used Angie and have integrated Proline with it to immediately text and call incoming leads from Angie. And over again, it was like the same story. They'd get out of every 10 leads from Angie, they would like 7 to 9 of them would ghost and 1 to 3 would, we'll just say like 2 out of every 10 actually answered. And that's super frustrating to most contractors. And they're like, oh, it's a scam. Like none of the leads are good. But then we would have people come on board with Proline, integrate it with Angie, and then immediate, like within seconds, an email and text are going to every single lead from Angie, and those would flip. And they'd get responses from 8 out of 10 of the 10 leads coming from Angie and only get ghosted by two. And it's like a shocking difference. And the difference, like the difference really is like it is seconds. And then it because seconds after that lead comes through Angie, there's a number of contractors that are calling that lead. They're calling, they're texting, they're emailing within seconds. And but most of them are still doing it manually. They have somebody in the office that's trying to manually hit that as quickly as possible. So, but you can't beat an automation that can do it in literally a second and a half. Like a second and a half later, sending a text, sending an email with Proline, unless there's somebody else using Proline that's also in your market that's connected to Angie, then you are likely the first person to contact that lead by a good margin. By a good margin, it might be 5 seconds, 10 seconds, but that matters when that person is probably just going to engage with the first company that reaches out to them. So I will say that I'm not necessarily like promoting or defending Angie and their practices, but that's just what I've seen from my side of the table on the
So,
tech side.
and I want to follow up on that because I do want to clear up something. I don't use it. The network of people I know don't use it. And so I don't know Dimitri. I'm as you know, I do no social media. I have no social media. None of this stuff is relatable to me. Um, the whole directory thing, I've only heard bits and pieces about it. I know almost zero about it. I hope it's an Angie that is good for contractors. That's what I hope. I just don't know if that's what it is or not. To me, those money back guarantees and things like that, I mean, that all sounds great, but I mean, I know what it takes to run a business. You can't just give money back to everybody that's unhappy. Like on my end, I do because I don't. I mean, we'll kill ourselves to satisfy a customer. But I'm saying when you're an online platform, and every Tom, Dick, and Harry that comes in with a complaint, you can't just hand them up to $20,000. Like there's going to be a significant amount of hoops to jump through, and everybody knows when they sign up to that, their chances of ever recouping that 20 grand. I mean, they basically have to get stolen from for that to probably ever hold any weight. And fair enough, at least they're doing that, right? Because I mean, there are contractors that are freaking thieves. So at least they're doing that, I guess. But I just don't think. I'll tell you what I believe. This week we started canvassing. You know what we've done? We've kicked freaking ass this week. We're out knocking doors. We've never done it before. It's working. We're putting door hangers out. We're eating lunch in town, getting our coffee at the coffee shop in town, making sure that our wrap trucks are in parking lots in town. We've had more leads this week because we literally just said, screw it. We're going to do this with purpose. We are going to shove ourselves in people's faces. We have had more leads in the last 3 days than we've had in any week this year. I think that's the key right now. I don't think it's how many certifications or how many awards or any of that. I think it's go get in front of people.
Yeah, find a way and get in front of people.
That's what yeah.
Yeah, yep. I hear that. I do. I have a message. I'm just gonna read from the Q&A. It's just it says anonymous attendee, so I'm not sure. I have to look into is I don't know if we have people that can like anonymously watch this or not. I'm not sure, but anyway, the message is I'm a member of directory. I include the guarantee in my proposal, but not sure if it has helped many sales, but it certainly doesn't hurt. That's the message.
Sure. I
Um,
can't imagine that any additional props to your business is ever going to hurt, but it just
yeah,
there's just so many out there today. I mean, how do you cut through the shit, right? Like that's just my point of view on it. Eventually, I think that's the problem with Facebook right now. Consumers are just tired of being sold to. They want to have a conversation with somebody. And I think that's why canvassing right now is working. They just want a relationship. They want to talk to a person.
yeah. I'm just curious. We like with doing all that canvassing, you've gotten all these leads and people are enjoying you talking to you guys. How many of your guys have gotten yelled at, cussed
None.
out?
None.
None?
None.
None?
No,
None at all?
we're 3 days in.
Okay, there's 3 days
Hold
in.
up.
All
Hold
right.
up. We're 3 days in.
I was going to say,
But
what is your approach? What is the approach that you're having your guys do?
so all they do is we're doing a job in a neighborhood. So this is very, very intentional. This is not like just go drive to a neighborhood that we know has money and go knock the doors down. Now, we're doing a job in the neighborhood. Our sign's probably been in that yard for 1 to 3 weeks, right? And usually there's about 3 signs. We try to hit both stop signs and the yard. So everybody on the block has seen the sign. Hopefully they've seen the truck. We'll put door hangers out through the whole block, 2, 3 blocks, somewhere right in there. But we'll knock on every door that we can tell needs a roof. So if we're not in a storm market, we're looking at outdated roofs. We're looking at roofs that look like they're 20 plus years old. We're knocking on that door. We knock a couple times. If we don't get an answer, we walk on. We're not going to sit there and just pound the door down because we see a car in a driveway, right? If they don't want to answer, we're not going to sit there and keep beating. But I know we're having a daily huddle every morning to discuss how the previous day went because I'm really wanting to track this. And all of the guys that are doing that, and I'm talking just in a block or two, so you're probably talking there's 30 houses, 40 houses maybe. They're getting about 2 appointments off of each job, 2 to 3. So, I mean, and that's the goal. We're wanting to close 1 in 3. So if we can get 3 appointments in those few blocks right there, we're probably going to get one of those to close, right? So now we took a job and created another job off of it. If we can do that again the next time, we never have to go pay for a lead. We would never have to pay for a lead if we could do that.
Yeah, you sound like Brad Akers now.
Him and Dave Sullivan, they both talk about the same thing.
Yeah.
They just literally say it differently. One of them talks about, well, that's Brad's saying, and then Dave's always earn a job from a job. So, yeah, but it's true. If you can do it, it's a no brainer.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. That's awesome. Richard in the chat says we were getting ready to do the same thing and start canvassing. I think it was also Richard before talking about directory. By the way, the guys in the audience, if any of you are interested in jumping in on any of these questions, feel free to raise your hands and I'll tag you in. I'll let you come on camera. So just rate, there's like a hand raise thing, I think, in the bar at the bottom. And I'll turn on your camera. All right. I'm gonna get this next question queued up. Let's look at one of these. Let's kind of jump into a new topic and away from sales. When you're doing an inspection, when you guys are doing an inspection, how can you tell if the decking of a roof is damaged or not? Is there any way to tell until you get the shingles off?
We tell everybody there's no way. Now, some people will ask us to get in their attic and look, and we will. If you get up there and it's crunchy under your feet, yeah, there's some issues, but there's no way to know like how many sheets of plywood are bad, right? Like I literally before I got in here, I don't hardly ever do inspections anymore, but a good friend of mine called this evening. Me and my wife went down to the bar to grab dinner because my kids are gone. So Vince called me and he said, "Hey, can you stop at my aunt's real quick? A tree fell in her house last night and I got the tree cut off, but I need someone to dry the roof in." I said, "Okay, I'll stop by." So I get up there and she's asking me this question: Is the plywood bad? What do I need to tell the insurance guy? Blah 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 blah. I'm like, there's 4 sheets bad because you got 4 holes in the roof from this tree, right? Other than that, I have no freaking idea. Like I'm walking on it, it seems okay. I feel some spots that are a little bit bouncy and kind of shaky feeling, but overall, I mean, but I guarantee you when we tear that thing off, we'll find 2 to 4 other sheets that are bad. That we include 2 sheets with every roof.
Yeah.
We should really include about 1 sheet per 10 square. That's what we've found is kind of the formula. Um, when replaced in a reasonable time frame.
Yeah.
Most roofs need about 1 sheet of plywood per 10 square, usually covers it because we'll cut a sheet in half and make 2 small patches. 4 foot patches is the smallest we'll make. That usually covers 9 out of 10 jobs. So, but
Yeah.
2 sheets we always include because that does the majority of them.
Yeah. The yeah, our calculations, our default calculations in Proline are for OSB board for our quotes and quote templates is one one board every 10 with a minimum of two. Like that's literally so it's exactly what you said. But that's what we said by default as our calculations. That was coming from John and how he does it as well. So so the way it works is like no matter how small the roof, always two OSB boards. And then if it's a 30 square plus roof, then there's going to be three, 40 square, etc. So it makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. It's even if you do an inspection from the attic, you're not going to get it right. Like you're going to give an educated guess, but you're not going to get it right. So
Yeah.
that's why we've got a clause, and we've got multiple clauses in our quotes. I mean, I know you've seen it, down at the bottom underneath all of it. Before you sign, you have to read this little thing, and you got to put a little initial next to it, understanding that you're going to pay for each sheet of plywood, you're going to pay for each additional layer of shingles, and the big one that we put in last year because it happened 3 freaking times. If the wood is in disrepair to the point one of our employees falls through the roof and damages interior of your home, we are not responsible for any interior damage. If you waited too long, that's your fault. That's not my fault. We have to be able to get up there and walk around. There's literally no other way to put that roof on.
Yeah.
Anybody that gets up there is going to fall through it. So that happened to us, I think it was 3 times last year. And we finally said, hell with it. We're not freaking patching
Three
drywall for free.
times people fell through the roof.
A foot. Usually it's a foot. Like 1 foot goes
1 foot.
through. And if it's a cathedral ceiling, and sure as shit, 2 of them were cathedral ceilings, poked their foot clear through the drywall ceiling. One of them, my guy walked out the living room door. He landed in the living room, took the whole ceiling down.
Oh, dang.
Didn't touch a truss. Literally was walking, whoop, right through the ceiling, landed in the living room floor, whole ceiling laying on the ground, all the insulation and everything. It was like a $4,000 screw up.
And you
And we
guys
had to
were
pay
out of
for it.
pocket on that?
Every piece of it.
Man.
And you shouldn't, because that roof was in such poor condition. We didn't even get up there to do the inspection because it was in such bad shape.
Yeah.
At that point, we should have put a clause in our quote, and we didn't. And one of these installers was just doing his job, and he fell through. Luckily, he didn't get hurt. That's the biggest thing. He didn't get hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Seriously. Yeah, that's pretty scary. I mean, did he land on like a piece of furniture or did he just land on the floor?
right in the floor. The
In the
homeowners are on
middle of-
vacation too.
At least there's got to be like a rug or something, right? It wasn't
Dude,
just
they were on
hard floor.
vacation. I had to call them and tell them that their whole ceiling's laying on the floor. I was like, oh no. So yeah. They were luckily I did know him. I played baseball with their son in school. So like I knew him a little bit.
Yeah. But that's
But
all
I
your
guarantee
profit on
you
that
they
job,
hated
right?
me. It's like there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. And that I imagine you made no money on that job.
Negative.
Yeah.
Negative money. Yeah.
You paid to put a roof on.
Yep. Oh,
Paid for the privilege.
we've done more than one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes it hits you. All right. So moving on from there, let's do another production one.
We could do an episode on funny stories. That would be fun because I've got some
We sh-
wild shit.
yeah, we should do funny stories for sure. We should have everybody. We need
Every
to
good
put an
roofer
email
log
out.
in here. Let's all tell one funny story because
Yeah,
I'm
one
telling
funny
you, it's
story.
wild.
Hey, I mean, we can start right now. We can transition unless you want to save it for that episode.
Let's save it.
You want to save it? All right. All right. Um, all right. So let's look at what's the right way to tear off a roof?
That's funny. Actually, I was talking with one of my sales guys. I think it was like last week about that. He was an installer for me, and 9 years ago when I hired him and I tore roofs off together. Like that, we were the roofing crew. Him and I were the roofers, and then we had a couple of helpers, basically. And we always started at the bottom. We would start at the bottom, rip the shingles off all the way to the top because you could take them off in big chunks. We'd throw the shingles in the trailer, and then we'd start at the top and denail it all the way down to the gutter. That's the only way we ever did it, unless it was too steep to walk on, and you have to start at the top. But the Latino labor that I work with today, they always start at the top. They tear the ridge cap off first, and they shovel it off from the top down. Every
Really?
every crew that I work with today does that. I never did that. I think I always thought it was slower. It was a bigger pain in the ass. But see, they shovel it off onto the ground where we would rip the shingles off from the bottom up, carry the shingles to the trailer on the roof, throw them in the trailer. So when we got done to clean up, all we had to clean up was we each would carry a 5 gallon bucket around, right? Like just picking up nails,
Little
little pieces of
pieces.
stuff.
Yeah.
You didn't pick up whole shingles. All the whole shingles were in the trailer. These
Yeah.
guys lay tarps down everywhere, which we always had tarps, but they lay tarps down everywhere. They shovel them right off onto the tarps, and there's somebody on the ground all day just packing shingles to the trailer. So
Hmm.
it's a totally different method. Um, I don't think there's a wrong way to do it. It's ripping shingles off. It's literally the dumbest work on the planet. It's like digging a ditch, right? I mean,
Do it your
it's one
way.
of my favorite things to do because it's such dumb work. I love
Yeah.
it.
Just not have to think.
There's no thinking. You can think about anything in this world while you're tearing a roof off. Just don't walk off the roof. That's literally the only thing you can't do.
Right. Don't walk off the roof.
That's the only way
Is
I've
there
ever about
no
fallen.
say what?
That's the only way I've ever about fallen is just walking off the edge because you get
Yeah.
so comfortable. You're so not scared of heights that it's like walking on blacktop. You're just walking through the park. It's not a problem. But when you're bullshitting with your buddy that's on the other side of the roof and you're looking over here and you're talking, I mean, my foot has been off the edge probably 5 times. Like, I mean, so close.
You're just bullshitting and
just bullshitting away and almost walk off the roof. But yeah, no, I don't think there's a wrong way to do it. I think it's just the
is there
fastest way
no
you can get it done.
well, is there no way that like to damage the roof? Is there no method that has a risk to it when it comes to damaging, or is it
I would think the way that those Latino fellows like doing it, shoveling it down would damage gutters, but they're pretty good about keeping them off the gutters. And I know the catch-all's got that one system, the gutter guard system. We don't use it, but we've never really had gutter issues. Um, so yeah, I just think there's more than one way to skin a cat, and they're all good options. It's just whatever your crew's used to, and there's no quality control to that. Do it as fast as you can. Whatever it is, whatever's the fastest way you can do it, that's the best way.
yeah, it makes sense. The fastest way you can do it. Don't walk off the edge.
Don't walk off the edge.
Don't walk through the ceiling. Yep, and have some fun.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Cool. Uh, yeah, if you guys got any questions for us, you want us to hit, feel free to put those in the chat. We'll hit them. Let's jump back maybe over to the sales side. Um, yeah, here's a really good one. What are some approaches to encourage repeat business in the roofing industry? Strategies slash approaches to encourage repeat business.
So we have very little repeat business. Now
I
we
think
have
that's
a lot of
probably more.
referral business,
Yeah.
but the repeat business that we chase um, would be considered commercial.
Hmm.
There's basically very little to no opportunity for repeat business in the residential roofing business. The only When I say commercial though, that doesn't mean it's not a residential dwelling. It's owned by a commercial company. So that's still commercial work, right? Because you're working for a property manager or you're working for one of the ones I'm so excited about this year we've got is this gas station chain. They're a convenience store chain. It's the biggest one in the area by like I don't even know who second is. They own everything. And we got the contract with them about a month ago. We did one job and we've got in the last couple of weeks we bid five more. That's great repeat business because most of their stores are they're either small rubber jobs like 30 square rubber jobs or 20 to 50 square shingle jobs. So they're more or less like a residential dwelling size wise. There's just a little layer of complication because of the consumers coming in and out of the store. You have to kind of control that. If you're wanting repeat business, you got to go out and chase property managers. I don't really care for realtors. I've got one that I'm working for right now. We just have never really had success with it. They don't make money on that. That makes realtors no money. Usually, it makes a sale fall through, not go through. So,
Yeah.
especially once they get our price, they see, oh shit, that roof's going to cost me 20 grand. Well, I can't buy this house. So, realtors don't mess with us much. Insurance agents, again, the ones that are good, they're not really allowed to do a whole lot. So that's not the way I would go. Property managers have been great to us. We get condo associations, HOAs. Um, we've got one property manager that has a decent bit of rentals, probably like 100 rental homes to where we're doing, two or three, four a year, but they're just houses, Um, the last one we've got, and I'm not going to share too much because it is kind of our little niche that we're just killing it, is a little bit of government work. Get with your local government, figure out what opportunities are there, what they're doing. If you want to know more, reach out to me directly. If that's an avenue you're interested in, you can reach me directly. I will talk about it. But that's a that's a touchy one for us because it's literally what's going to get us through any of these hard times. We'll do more business in that than we would in retail last year when
Yeah.
we set our record year. Like, well,
Yeah.
that's how good it is. So I don't want to give the kitty away on that completely, but local government has a lot of work, man. There's a lot of opportunity in it. Health department, check with your health department, check with building code and things like that. There's a lot of opportunities there.
Yeah. No, that's really interesting. Yeah. It's like it's these you're looking for the people that are managing multiple properties in one way or another. That's how you get repeat business.
And the beautiful thing about government is, as terrible as government is, it's not their money. So
They
once
always
they
pay.
trust you, and that's the biggest thing we built. And now we're very fair. Just to give ourselves a little pat on the back, we do stay fair because we don't want to lose that. We don't want to risk them looking elsewhere, right? So we keep our prices competitive. Don't get me wrong, we keep it at the margin we want. Like we don't cut our own throat, but we keep a fair margin. We don't go to 60%. We stay at 35, 38%. They don't even bid us out sometimes. They're just because we're so easy to get along with, so easy to deal with. Sounds good. You guys got it. When can you do it? So local government's a good one to get repeat business.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I wanted to throw in just, I don't know, get your thoughts on this. When I was doing marketing with John and his business, so this was a while ago, we tried to start this program that was it was basically a maintenance program, a residential maintenance program, where it was a recurring, I think it was might have been like $99 a month or something like that. And it was like trying to get homeowners to sign up $99 a month to get unlimited repairs and maintenance and like your annual inspections and stuff. It did not work. But I've always wondered this, and when I did bring it up with John a long time ago, and he was just like, yeah, there's absolutely no way. But it was something I'm curious about to get your input on it, because I'm just not remembering that we had this conversation. And that is, what if instead of doing $99, like doing the maintenance plan, what if you did like a roof subscription where they come in, they sign a contract for 15 years, and they are on the hook for X amount that gets billed every month. And then um, you put on the roof at no upfront cost. They just pay their first month and then they keep paying. And it would be like internal financing in a way, but or you don't even it's not even 15 years. It's just like you're gonna pay this forever. When you sell the home, you are either on the hook for it or you get the person taking over to take it over, or the person you're selling to has to take it over, or you can replace it. Once you replace it, if you go with us, you can get the roof replaced at no additional cost. And so the model that I'm basing this off of is the model that I used to use when I had my agency for websites. And the model there was never pay upfront for your website. We will rebuild the website. If your website starts breaking down and we need to rebuild it, I'll rebuild it at no additional cost. You get unlimited changes on the website, unlimited maintenance on the website, and all you pay is you'll normally charge $500 a month. So it's like $500 a month. You get full maintenance, full like message anytime to have anything change. You never have to worry about the website. You never have to worry about rebuilding the website. You just pay $500 a month and you have the website off your plate entirely. And so I'm like, can you do that? Websites obviously do not cost the same as a roof to build out, but I'm just wondering, could that possibly work in roofing?
No. No. No, no. I think I really wanted to just shit on you there for a second. No, it could it. You have to be in a huge market, dude. Like you'd have to be in San Francisco, Houston. That to me, like you have to be in an area that you could put that advertisement out and find these select few people that want to do it. Because I just don't. Here's the problem with a roof. I'll give you an example. My father in law, great guy, fantastic person, great businessman. Like, I have nothing negative to say. He owns a lot of buildings, commercial buildings, and he leases them to himself for other business or to other businesses. There's a couple of these buildings that the roofs are like 50 freaking years old. Like they're so bad. And he'll ask me to repair them. He's like, they still don't look too bad. I think them's only about 40 years old. I'm like, Terry, them's 20-year shingles. You know, but I'm picking on my father-in-law. That's most people. Most people don't look at their roof with the mentality of like, man, that's starting to show its age. I'm gonna get some maintenance done and replace that, or I'm going to have some maintenance done to keep from replacing that for an additional few years. You know what they do is they don't even look at it, and when it starts leaking, they call a handyman to squirt blackjack all over it and smooth some shit over for 150 bucks, and they hope that that'll last them a couple more years while they save to put a roof on, or they put the house for sale and move. Because I mean, literally, I would say the number. I think that's number two. I think roofing is number two on the I never want to do list for homeowners. I think number one is basement repair, like foundation repair. I think that's number one. I think number two is roofing.
Yeah, of like the last things people want to pay for.
Yeah, foundations
Yeah.
are the worst because it's literally buried in the ground,
Yeah.
and it costs way more than a roof does. Like it's so
Yeah.
expensive.
Yeah. It's so
If
much
you're
so
up
hard.
up up here where I'm at, where everything's in a basement, we're all everybody up here has basements, so basements are super expensive to repair. I mean, you're talking 40 grand on just a normal house. So
Yeah.
that roof might be 15 grand. But I would say roofs are number two. I mean, I'd rather re-insulate my house than put a roof on it, because at least if I re-insulate it, my electric bill is going to go down. You know,
Yeah.
with new roof, what changes?
You're
To
not
me,
saving
I
anything.
care because I look at it. I pay attention, but most people don't pay attention.
Right. Right. Yeah. It's super interesting. It's always like, yeah. So people are always doing it the absolute last second that they possibly can.
When it's dripping on their freaking head in bed at night, that's when they
Yeah.
put a roof on. Most people.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really interesting. Unless it's insurance or something like that, but that's like you're saying your market, there's very little of that. So, yeah. Okay. So, last question here. So this is from Jack. Um, I'm new to the business and still finding my feet. For the life of me, I can't figure out how some of our competitors are coming in so low on the same jobs we're quoting. We just put out a 45K bid on a 5V aluminum, and competitor came in at 24K on a standing seam. They're reputable, have a similar size company, shop, fleet of trucks, etc. Seems like their cost structure is the same as ours. Any tips on how to unravel this mystery?
I'm going to tell you right now that that's a potential screw up on their end. I'm just guessing. Not that that thing is not happening through our industry right now, because I'm seeing it daily. That one just looks too far off for me. I mean, and hey, we've done it. One of my freaking sales guys just did a pro line proposal, and for some reason, he did it without putting the measurements in like he's supposed to. I think. I mean, I'm not blaming him, but he didn't put labor in. We sold a fucking job with no labor. I
Yeah.
guarantee you, I've got some competitors in that market that are like, how in the hell is Rain Stoppers Roofing that damn cheap? You know, because I mean, we missed, it was a $12,000 job we sold for 7,500 bucks. So there's no way anybody could compete with us. There's no way.
Yeah.
This could be a one off situation. I don't want to say it is. It definitely could be, though. It could be a mistake on their end. I can tell you, whether it is or not, we're seeing that in this industry really bad right now. And I would say in every industry, anybody I talk to, I've got some buddies in heating and cooling, I got some buddies in plumbing. We're all getting our throats cut by competitors. It's just part of the nature of the beast right now. Economy's down. It's election year. Everybody's scared slash excited. They don't, if the election goes one way, maybe we'll have money, maybe interest rates will go down. If election goes the other way, am I going to have to, borrow money at 12%? Or people just don't know right now. So I would call it hesitancy. Everybody's being hesitant. Nobody's pulling the trigger. But because there are dogs out there willing to work for nothing, you're going to get beat. And don't give it the time of day. We're not. I mean, we're going to do some, last year we hit some numbers that we were really, really proud of. We still have goals that exceed last year. I have a really good feeling we're not going to hit our goals this year. And I'll be upset about that. But at the same time, I will get to 25 whole and with a little bit of money still in my pocket. And hopefully we'll kick some freaking ass next year. I mean, that's all we can do. We can't go work for nothing and take a loss. You can't go do that job for 24 grand. If you can, you shouldn't be bidding it for 45. So, and I'm sure you didn't. I'm sure you can't bid that for 24 grand. That doesn't make sense. That's such a big margin that doesn't make sense. So that's my opinion. My opinion is he probably screwed up and just let him have that one because if he has two or three more like that, he ain't going to exist.
Yeah, that's a lot of potential lost money on that job if they bid it wrong.
Dude,
So
we've done it. We've made some bad ones,
yeah,
but you don't do it very often. Like that, the guy that just did that in my company that was 4 grand, $4,500 off the mark. I mean, it was 30 some percent that he was off the mark on, right?
yeah,
And that's cost.
yeah.
I
We're
bet
gonna
he
have to take
doesn't
a
do it
look.
again.
We'll have to take a look at your calculations and stuff and
It
figure out.
wasn't that. It was I just between you and I and everybody that's listening. I think I think he manually entered it. Now he says he didn't, and I don't want to not believe him,
Yeah,
but to me, that's the only thing that really makes sense. Is Proline was down during that day or that hour,
yeah. We
and
had some
he just
measurement.
manually entered it.
Yeah, we launched the multi-structure stuff and we had
It was
those
that day.
issues with it. Yeah.
It
And
was
so he
that
might
day.
have just been like, "Oh, I can do this. I can figure it out."
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I think, and it's
Don't
fine.
go too hard, Mom. That was partly our fault. That was my fault. I'll take some of the blame.
I already chewed his ass, so it's over.
Um yeah, tell him I'm sorry. Um
I don't chew asses.
yeah, we're I think we got it really dialed in though, and we got a few more changes to make with quoting here soon, and then we're gonna do our best not to touch it because we're trying to get it in a really solid place and then just let it be because it's one of those things. It's like it's got to work, and especially during the season. Like if we're gonna mess with it, we want to try to mess with it more in the off season. Um, but we're making some final things. The multi-structure ended up kind of having a ripple effect. We didn't intend it to, but like we had to like rework how discounting works and a number of other things just because it just really changes it up. And those changes don't affect people that are continuing to quote without multi-structures, but if you're using the multi-structure stuff, there's some weird things with like discounting and stuff that we're addressing. So but all right, let's end it there. Thanks for joining us, guys, in the audience, and thanks for the questions. Hopefully that was helpful, Jack. That's always frustrating when you got bids coming in like that, but yeah, we'll wrap it up. Cheers.
See ya.